This is The Great Equalizer, a parenting podcast about the realities of being a mom
or dad
in the 2020s. We are your hosts, Sam
and Charlene,
and we believe we're all rocking the same kind of crazy.
So let's get real, let's get honest, and let's have a laugh about the ups and downs of our current upside down. Hashtag no judgies.
On this episode of The Great Equalizer, peace. Sam is out.
Charlene has to pivot.
And we tackle the always topical division of labor
at Christmas time
with special guest and fellow content creator Terence Mentor. Hello. What's up?
What's up? NM, yo.
What that?
Not much. Which is a big fat lie because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, a lot is going on.
We completely skipped Red October and we're just like into December.
October, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Now.
And another year gone.
Fuck. It's been rough, man. My emotions are all over the place. I just need to fill our listeners in case nobody picked up on the fact that after last episode's breakdown, my period did in fact arrive 2 days later. Not to invalidate my feelings at the time.
Yes.
Past Sam is 100% validated, but it's not easy to navigate the shiz when you are hormonal at the same time.
Well, a case in point, hi, Aunt Flo is due to roll into town any day now. So Charlene's just, the waterworks just.
Where are your tissues? Tyler, have you got some?
Tyler's got a
Tyler's
stash.
got, look. Thanks, Ty.
Tissue.
We got it.
Serviettes, but they're tidier than a box of tissues.
We are sorted for you. We are sorted for you. But, I mean, I might also very well be on my way out. I'm done.
Tell me about this.
The other day, we were watching a Christmas movie because that is what you do at this time of year. You have movie nights. You get in the mood.
Festive.
Let's watch The Grinch. In The Grinch, and we always watch the Jim Carrey version.
Yes.
In The Grinch, he takes out the yellow pages of Whoville at one point and stands at the top of his little mountain, crag, whatever he, lives on in isolation. Looks like heaven to me, like Princess Elsa's ice castle.
Yes.
I mean, why would anybody pull her out of that? It looks like a dream. Of course she wants to be alone. The snow never bothered her anyway.
Exactly.
As with
she
the Grinch.
She gets to poo in peace there.
Exactly. As with the Grinch, he's on his crag and he's got the Whoville's yellow pages and he names all the Who's and he's like, blah, 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 blah. I hate you. Blah, 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 blah. I hate you. Blah, 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 blah. I hate. And then he gets to one person and he goes, ooh, I loathe you. And Ray said, well, there's Sam. Sam, it's you.
Wow.
I was like, quite right, my love. Quite right.
I will own
I'm
it.
done. I don't like people at the moment. I'm peopled out.
Yeah.
I'm done. There have been a lot of school concerts, meetings, plays, end of year, end everything. I'm done.
You are at your end.
And
the
this
end is officially
this is when
arrived.
I've got to buy presents for people with love.
Yeah, put thought into, I want to buy this one this.
No.
You get fuck all.
I'm done. I'm so grumpy. I'm so grinchy. Yeah.
You and Rett.
Is
Same
it?
Same WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Rett's a proper Grinch. I always call him the Grinch.
This end-year stuff is really getting to me this year. There's a lot of expectation. My emotions are running high at Elijah's last year at his current school before he moves on to grade R. And this is also the amazing time of year where other parents justify why their kids are going why they've opted for a different route to the one you've opted for. And I'm like, la 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 la. Don't want to hear it, because it makes me feel like shit when you try and justify your decisions, and it's not one or the other. Guess what? My decision can be just as right as yours.
Listen, not to invalidate that argument, but has it occurred to you that maybe those people are not doing it at you? They're probably voicing it out loud, trying to convince themselves more of their own decision.
Which is why I'm not into people right now. I'm
Gotcha.
like, I can see what you're going through. I'm not here for you, darling. I'm here for me. I do not have the capacity to take your insecurities and put them on my shoulders. Yeah. So yes, I know that they're not doing it at me. They're not trying to convince me. Likely they're trying to convince themselves. There's a lot swimming around here, and
I don't have the energy to think about all of it.
I don't have the energy.
My inbox is full.
We've spoken about teachers' gifts on the show a lot before. You voice noted me about expectations and how we don't need to be doing this. I always try and look for the most cost-effective option, because especially at ECD level, your kids have many coaches, many teachers. Noah has 3 teachers. Elijah has 2 teachers in his class. That's 5. 5 times, so 100 Rand gift's not a lot of money. Times 5 is 500. However, the school principal and vice principal aren't just heads that have nothing to do with the kids. They're very involved with the kids. Yes. The aftercare teachers and then coaches. It adds up to 10.
And at our school, we've got also, which I don't mind it. I'm happy to contribute. Gifts for the groundsmen and the extended staff, and make their Christmas worth celebrating as well. It's a lot.
I want to, because I do appreciate, as much as I don't like people, as much as I want to stand at the top of my little hill with the yellow pages, the Johannesburg yellow pages in my hand and be like, I loathe you. I do appreciate these people. And a lot of teachers always hit my inbox when I mention it on social media and say, what the fuck is up with teachers' gifts? And a lot of them are teachers going, this is what's up. And I get it. I do get it. It's just another thing on top of everything else, So
it's a lot. It's just a lot to carry. In isolation, it's just a teacher's gift. You're showing your appreciation, which you do have appreciation. You're not like, fuck you, you don't deserve a gift. You teach the kids, you get paid for that shit. That's not the opinion. But it's just something else. Simple example I can relate, and I'm sure other parents can. Having a discussion with another mom yesterday at our school. They are they are doing inter-house sports, okay? And so everybody is in a color house. And so when we started off the year, Joshua was in the yellow house. We, as we do as a family, all got our yellow T-shirts on, and we're rooting for each other. And then yesterday, we get a WhatsApp. These are the kids and how they're divided into their different houses. Joshua's now in the red house. And so I'm talking to this mom, and she's like, how can they spring this on me at such a late stage? I now have to go and buy a blue shirt because she does not own a single blue shirt. And so I am, because also her daughter's very girly, glitzy, glam and studded pink shirts. It's just her personality. So the wardrobe doesn't have anything blue in it. And it seems like such a simple thing, because just get a blue T-shirt. But the mom is like, do you have any idea the impact of this inconvenience? The level of disruption you're causing in my life? Because we're at that point where if things do not land exactly as they should, if I drop my toothbrush in the morning, my whole day is stuffed, because that adds to the time that I need to get through to get to the next thing.
100%. That is the perfect analogy. Do not spring at this late stage a blue shirt on me.
Yes.
Is exactly how I'm feeling. And unfortunately, teachers' gifts land up in that category. Not to discount the hard work of I'm grateful. I'm so, and I actually thought of writing the teacher a letter and want to express my gratitude and thanks towards her, which I think, and I'm pretty sure she'll appreciate much more than than a 120 rand gift.
Plus, you're an exceptional writer. You should do that. And please send it to me so I can just cry.
because you feel like
You
crying.
just get all the fight.
So I do have gratitude for these people. There is also the small element of competition amongst parents that I am not here for.
Yeah, I don't subscribe to that.
So there's a small part of me that when I see these oh, that's a great idea, and you see things online and you see like, this is a great teacher's gift, like little boxes with like world's best teacher mugs and blah blah blah, amazing. Cannot afford it. I cannot afford 100 rand per teacher times 10. I pride myself on the creative year-end gifts that I've come up with. Elijah has also added to, with his Christmas joy, bless him, has added to...
He's untainted Christmas joy.
He's like, Charlie? Remember old Charlie? Charlie would like, get this, a farm set for Christmas.
Wow.
Elijah has promised him a
farm.
farm set, the same one that Elijah has at his...
Parents are farmers, Sam.
So he's like, Mommy, please, I promised Charlie that I would get him the same farm set that I have at Oma and Opa's house. I promised him that I would get it for him for Christmas. Can we do that? And I'm like, how do I look at my kid who wants to give someone a gift?
Yes.
And say no. So now I've got family gifts. I've got my kids' gifts, teachers' gifts, groundsman, extramural, blah, blah, blah. And Charlie's gifts, my kids' friends.
Yeah.
I'm skint. I'm flat broke on my ass. And I got to like really think creatively with very little in my tank.
Bandwidth, yes.
I don't have a lot in my tank. I'm done. I'm depleted. And that is where I'm at. We're going to carry on talking about the labor and the load and the extra mother load that we carry
at this time, as we always do.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, this isn't us just bitching about how weighed down we feel. We're only having this conversation so that whoever listens to us will feel less alone. If you're feeling like we do, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a thing.
A lot.
And I think too, you need to get to a position where you look at the social pressures and think whether it's something you want to subscribe to or not. Maybe you do. Maybe you do want to have. I know someone who's an extremely creative person and like pulls out all the stops. She's like a Pinterest worthy mom of note. If she's listening, she knows exactly who she is. and that's cool too. I can look at her there.
You mean it's not me?
It's not you, Charlene.
Damn it.
As much as I love you. Do you have a cricket machine? No, you don't.
Not yet.
It's the cricket machine moms that I'm talking about. That like, you go, girl. I will all power
cheer
to
you on because you go.
Yeah, but might I just put it out there that for the cricket moms, the cricket machine moms, and if you don't know what a cricket is, then how dare you?
Not sponsored.
No, in cricket, please don't send me a machine because I will do nothing with it.
Yeah.
Cricket, CRICUT is like a crafty thingamabob machine. The cricket moms, if in April, May or June, you could be like, I have this idea for Christmas gifts. You've got my money, guys.
Yes.
Do not spring it on me in November, but you've got my money. If you come to me mid-year with the end-year teacher's gift in mind, you have my business. I'm putting it out there. I digress, Charlene, because
Yes.
I want to hear about your pivot.
Oh, gosh. Okay. So, yes, all of the things you're feeling right there with you. Same WhatsApp group. I got you. I'm feeling them. I'm overwhelmed by them. Except I think this year I haven't had as much opportunity to wallow in them because I was thrown a curveball by the GDE for my son's grade 1 application. And it's a very long story that I can get into very much detail. But the short version of that is that we were placed at a school that we did not know existed. And after a very long roundabout discussion, fight, begging, crying, driving to the GDE, phoning, emailing.
Humiliating.
Yes. We have no choice. We're going to this school. We have pivoted. We have looked at the school. We have done all the due diligence that we did with all the other schools we looked at. And
you applied to
4. We have
4 schools.
Yeah, so we applied to 4 schools.
On recommendation. You did. You
Yes.
ticked all of, as you do.
And I
because
did,
that's
I
what
did
you
the
do.
research. I did the homework.
You ticked all of the boxes. It's frustrating.
I've had several discussions with several people on the inside, on the know, not parents, people on the inside of the school placement system. And it is not what it is made out to be. Let me just say that. I will not get into the details of the conspiracy, but I think the most upsetting thing is that we landed where we landed, not in an above board manner, is what I will say. And so the theory of you apply and the GDE places you where there is space, in theory is true, but I've arrived at the assumption that schools do have an insight into who is on the list and for their school and who is not. And so I don't know what to do with that information, but be that as it may, we have arrived where we are and things do happen for a reason. I have a really good feeling about the school, and so we have pivoted not only because we had to, but our minds, we're refocused and we're excited. We're excited, we're in a good place, we're content. My husband said to me that our children will be better South Africans for going to this school. And that's all I needed. That was all I needed because that's the goal.
Well done to you guys. Here's a tissue. While you gather yourself, Charlene, I want to fill our, perhaps we have overseas listeners or listeners who aren't aware.
Oh, yes, the references I'm making.
But
yes.
In South Africa currently, if you want to apply to a public school, you need to apply to a school that you're zoned for within a 5-kilometer radius.
In terms of your residential address, geographical location.
What could also be taken into context is where you work, etc. But things in our schooling system are not always as they appear to be. And we are going to leave it at that. But there is a process. It is a long and lengthy process. It is a faulty process. It is very flawed. And that I think is
emotionally taxing on parents. And I think
it's not fair. It's not.
I also want to just say, I want to make a disclaimer. I am checking my privilege at the door here because I am not one of the parents who has to wake my kid up at 3 a.m. in the morning and get them dressed and without food in their tummies, walk to the nearest public transport location, to commute for an hour or more, to be able to arrive at their place of education on time and have a full day of learning on an empty stomach. I'm not that person. And so I am grateful for what I have been given, and that's why I love the school and I will embrace it with, it's a great school, but even if it wasn't, I would still have embraced my position. I just cannot deal with breaking my child's heart in telling him that you're not going to the school we applied to. In fact, you're not going to any of the 4 schools we had exposed you to. Not only are you not going to only be placed with maybe some of your friends at the new school, you will not be placed with a single person you knew from before, because we all live in the same geographical area, and so all of those people will be spread amongst these few schools. And so chances are you'll see 1 or 2 faces wherever you go, which was my reassurance to him and probably my mistake, because we were placed in a completely different school, not geographically at all close to us. And so he starts afresh in a new big pond, and to have to explain that to him, that everything that you have believed to be your reality chuck that out the window.
Yeah.
We're starting new. So I can pivot. I'm an adult. I can pivot. Kids are resilient and they can pivot. But the fact that I have to put him through that, it hurts.
And it makes you angry as a parent. Like, do it to me. That's fine.
I'll take it.
Do
Don't
not
do it to my kid.
I'm with you.
Yeah. So that's that on the pivoting.
It's been a lot of heavy lifting, right? We've had a lot of shit put onto our shoulders that we knew was coming. The festive stuff we know is coming every year. We know that as festive and fun as it's supposed to be, it all falls on our shoulders to make the fun, to make the magic happen. And that consequentially is not very fun for us. But Charlene, my dear friend, what if I told you that you would have an opportunity to take a break this Christmas?
I'd say you're fucking lying.
I am. Psych. I lie.
Yes, you do lie.
It's not true. That's definitely not happening.
No.
You are not going to be taking a break. You are going to be working harder again before the year rolls on and we face another
new
year with additional challenges. So why don't we spend this time talking about all the extra fun things that we feel obliged to in the name of being festive.
Please remember, what we say on this podcast can only be considered the gospel on planet Sam and Charlene, respectively. Our kids and husbands can be assholes and angels at the same time, and only we're allowed to say so. And lastly, by virtue of the fact that we are amazingly insightful and incredibly divine human beings, and a fucking delight, to be honest, we reserve the right to change our minds and or contradict ourselves whenever we so choose. And we don't want to hear a damn thing about it. Hashtag no judgies.
How's your holly jolly looking?
I don't know. What did you say? Earlier
We don't
about
get holly. We don't have holly in South Africa, and my jolly has fucked right off. I don't have any of that. Do not be fooled by the antlers, Sam.
We try. The antlers make us try. They make us look the part.
In fact, listening to that little snippet is the most relaxed I've felt in months because I could just fall asleep on my microphone.
That was 18 seconds, by the way.
That was the best 18 seconds of my life. Sorry, Rach, you've given me good 18 seconds on occasion.
Yeah, in case you didn't know by my yellow pages anecdote, I'm finding it very difficult to get in the mood.
But there's no foreplay, Sam. The foreplay for Christmas is the load. So, like, how are you supposed to get in the mood when getting to the place that you're going is just work?
Yeah, I don't know. I'll say this. Past Sam, who was very enthusiastic about giving my, at that time, one child a very festive, fun-filled Christmas experience and hashtag making memories. I was very invested and I put the spirit of Christmas in my child.
Why did you do that? Is current Sam regretting her past decisions?
Just a warning for parents of pregnant parents perhaps and parents of babies. Be careful.
Yes.
Be careful.
You could be creating a monster.
What you sow, you will reap. And I'm grateful for him. He actually said to me the other day, what's the spirit of Christmas? Because I think I have it.
You do have it, my baby. You do have it.
He does. He's got it in bucket loads, and thank goodness for that little boy, because I mean, on the 20th of November, no less, actually after Halloween, he started nagging me to put up the Christmas decorations. I'm like, it's too soon.
Yes.
it's too soon. Please, let's wait. But he was nagging so much, and we were at a point one weekend where I needed to do something with him, and I was like, okay, well,
we're doing
it's
this.
10 days before we technically should be doing it, but who gives a shit what
Throw the
could,
rule
would,
book out the window.
We did. You know how shit it is to take the tree out, and when you piece it, because we don't have like a fancy, we got the plastic tree that you piece together
same.
with the like base, everything fits like a puzzle, and then you gotta like
undo the branches.
Elijah is almost 6. He'll be 6 next month, and he did all of that.
Oh man,
He did it. And we were the ones who helped him put the ornaments on, and each one he goes, "Oh, Sam, remember this one?"
oh my
And
gosh.
looks at, "Remember this one?" And he got us, sort of in the mood. On the same day, I decided to bake cookies with the boys. Black Friday special. I got the inner palm pre-mixed chocolate chip cookies. I'm like, okay, because with Elijah I could do things from scratch. We made gingerbread cookies, and I really, really did
the things.
so heavy with the spirit, like really leaned into Christmassy
Yes.
everything, gingerbread, alles.
Yes.
With Noah in the mix, he is a crazy mofo.
He's a wild animal. It's a second child thing, in my opinion.
And so it's boxed inner palm and cookies for the foreseeable future. And you're that irritated. The
Thanks,
shit.
Inner
Yeah, thanks, Inner
Palmen.
Palmen.
Doing moms a solid.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Yes.
That irritated me so much. The whole time. The whole time. Like
That's a lot.
the butter's the first thing you put in, and then you cream it, and you mix it. And they're like, "Ooh, can we taste?" We're like, "It's butter, you
Yes.
idiots. No, you cannot taste the butter."
It's going to make your stomach.
Yeah. I will tell you when you can lick the spoon. It's not now.
Can we lick it now? Can we lick it now? Are we there yet? It's, yeah.
And then they want to lick the whole bowl before they've actually put the damn cookies on, And I just said to Ray after that, I hope I managed to hide my irritation, because
Yeah.
I want that to be a good memory. There was one point when I had just had Noah. Noah was newborn, and I don't know what I was doing. I'd made cookies for some or other reason, and without Elijah, and he went, "Smells like homemade cookies." So those are
Oh
good.
my
Those were
gosh.
good
Yeah.
memories for him, and I could see that I had put in place the neurological pathway that made that smell remember that time with mom.
Yes.
I'm not there anymore.
Yes.
I hope to one
I
day
don't know if
get
I've ever
back
been
there.
there. I don't know about the neurological pathway that I have not paved.
I hope one day I hope that even for that one cookie session where I'm just like, do not eat the
butter.
butter. It is not cookie dough. It is
Yes.
butter. Or
Yes.
like,
Or butter, sugar, and egg. There is raw egg in this mixture. You
Yes.
cannot lick the spoon.
and then in apartments set comes with a bag of choc chip cookies. I'm like, great, that's a perfect thing for Noah to put in while Elijah's mixing the dry ingredients. He's a bit older, he can handle this. Noah's got the choc chip cookies, literally funneling it down his throat.
How does that surprise you, though? Do you know
Doesn't
Noah?
It
I
does
know
not
Noah.
surprise me. And I can't remember. I've blanked it out. I can't remember whether I went, "No, my boy,
Let's not.
let's not do that. Let's put it in the cookies." Or I
Or
went,
did you
"What
go,
the
"No,
fuck
don't
are you
put that in
doing?"
your fucking mouth.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did. I hope. It remains to be seen what damage I caused my children's psyche. In that moment, I meant well.
I will say this. Your urologist will be proud because you spend time with your children.
God. Have we said this on air
We
yet?
haven't.
We
It's
haven't.
an inside joke.
So
but we may as well fill in our
let's
listeners.
explain the inside joke. I have an anxious urethra.
We've discussed this on the pod.
This we've
Yes.
discussed. My anxiety shows up in many delightful ways, including ulcers,
Bladder infections.
Many bladder infections, cystitis, etc. So, especially now, since having kids, my bladder is very anxious and kind of tightens up. And I recently went to the urologist, and he said it's better not to be on chronic medication for this, because then you lose control of your bladder.
Yes.
So in order to have control of your bladder, but also not for it to be so tight, you need to find more natural ways to relax. Great. I was like, amazing. What do you suggest? And he said to me,
Dun, dun, dun.
Spend more time with your children.
Oh, gosh. So, yes, your urologist will be proud. I have a question for you, though. Is your bladder less anxious for it?
No.
Right, so that's out the window, Doc. Sweet advice.
Yeah. I mean, look.
Listen, you may have created this monster.
I did.
But
The Christmas monster.
But I am envious of your determination. And because I've fucking given up. I'm just like, will we have elves? We may. Will we have a tree? We may. I've just relinquished all control. So I'm just like, when do you want to put up the tree? We want to do it today. I'll go fetch it. There it is. Put it up.
Have
I
at
don't care.
it.
Have it. Just, you want elves? You fucking do it. Go get the elves. Rett can take control of what the elves are doing. I'm not doing it.
Is Rett happy to take control of what the elves are doing?
Yeah, no, he doesn't really care. It's neither here nor there for him. He's at the point where like, what do I need to do? Cool, I'm doing it. What do you need from me? I'll do it.
Expectations of the elf are very high. Our elf is called Rookie.
Yes.
And from when Elijah was 1, Rookie came. And Rookie did the most amazing, Pinterest-worthy, creative things again. Public service announcement to moms of really small babies. Don't do it. Unless you are willing to commit for the next decade. So I've paid money for little elf activities packaged very nicely by a very nice, creative, cricket-worthy mom who's made little ski poles for Elf Rookie, and
someone just has to put Rookie out with these little ski poles
someone.
before we go to bed.
Let's do it.
Dad can do that. Dad, just put the ski poles in, Ray.
It all comes in a bag with instructions.
Yes, read the instructions and just do it.
I'm grumpy now. But I hope, like, looking back 10 years from now at those bloody Rookie pictures, that I will appreciate the hard work that I put in. I'm not feeling it right now. But I think I've put enough things in place, like instilling the kind of joy for Christmas and the expectation in Elijah. He brings the fun now. And
his brother will pick up on that, which
yeah,
is nice.
which he's already doing. So
half
like
the job done there
I'm
a little bit.
super grinchy, but I've also got like advent calendars. Like shout out to, I wrote it down because I knew I was going to forget, Advent Town. It's like a little box houses
Yes.
that you can pre-make and put shit in. I bought it last year, made it, and then got Lego advent calendars, and that will just get reused and
Oh, right.
alternated.
Rather than the fucking chocolates.
Well, we've got that too. Because
Well,
Elijah asked for
I was
the
just going to say, my
goddamn
kids have been
chocolate.
asking since the Christmas shit hit the shelves. And I was just
Oh.
like, yeah,
Okay.
only on the 1st of December. The 1st of December is arriving with a vengeance.
Yes.
It is
It
imminent.
is upon us.
Yes.
It is upon us. Look, we're doing it all. I've wrapped books, 24
Yes.
picture books.
What happened
I've
to
done that.
past Sam there? Is that still happening?
I'm not wrapping the books this year. The year Noah was born, I had a 2-month-old, and I wrapped 24 books in front of Elijah, and I said, it's like a surprise. So we count down, but they're books you already own. And he was 3 going on 4 at the time, and he opened the first one, and he went, it's not a new book. And I went, well, fuck you.
Yes.
He was supposed to get the Lego Advent Calendar that year, in addition to all the 24 books that I wrapped. And I was like, Lego Advent Calendar will wait till next year because you're being a little dwarf about
I'm
it.
grateful, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was 3 going on 4.
I remember that discussion, yeah.
About the gratitude, right? So I've got a bunch of things that I've collected over the years that now I can alternate. I can decide, am I doing Advent Town? Are we doing the Lego Advent Calendar? Are we going to do books? So it's there, but I think the reason I'm struggling to find the joy is because of all the other mounting stuff that I've got to deal with. If I was doing nothing else, if I didn't have work deadlines and pressures and end of year uniform buying for next year, blah, 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 and the emotional toll it takes to see my little boy graduate from grade RR, and from the school.
It's as though there isn't space to just be in those moments. Yeah. There's not enough space to just be in those moments, feel those feels, and be like, okay, it's part of the process, on to the next thing. There's no space for that. So it's a whirlwind. That's
my regret about the cookies, right? I see it for what it is. I'm looking at the calendar. I'm going, there's no time to do the cookie tradition. Today we're going to do it. Come hell or high water. But I'm really not in the moment. I'm absent from the moment. And I think a lot of parents get criticized for their absence and for being detached. And I'm here to say, I feel you guys. It's hard to be in the moment when you are sitting with your heart in your throat and you feel this much pressure because you're trying to do right by your kids. So, and I know what we would say to one another. You don't have to do it. Take the pressure off.
Also, traditions can change. We implemented those traditions, and during that season of our lives, that was a good enough tradition. We're pivoting. We're forced to pivot. Yes. So if you have to let go of traditions or skip a year, if COVID hasn't taught us that,
exactly.
Then,
So I mean, as you say, we're recording it so that it can be released sort of first week of Christmas-ish, but it's not yet the first week of Christmas. So I have yet to decide, are we just sticking with the chocolate calendar and being done with it? Or it's literally an on-the-moment decision that I'm going to, do I do a different calendar? I mean, it's so silly. Charlene, come on, there are other things in this world besides what Advent calendar I decide on, right?
Yes, but it's not your reality you're thinking of here. You're not thinking of Sam and whatever's easy for Sam. You're thinking of Elijah. How is my decision? And that's the thing with parenting. You can't just be like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going with it. You don't just, and I don't have to say this to parents out there. We're all parents. We know what it's like, that weight of how is what I decide here going to impact my child and how he feels and how, because to your child, these traditions have become his only frame of reference.
And he loves
his whole
so
little
much.
world.
Yeah.
And then who are you to stomp on that for him with, fuck that, mom didn't have time this year? It's a lot.
It's a lot. I'll tell you what I did do. I think that now that you say that, I eliminated the parts of Christmas that he doesn't care about, and that's the family, the weight of family get-togethers. Even if you have the perfect family, which I know you fucking don't. Nobody has the perfect family.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get together without there being drama one way or another.
Yeah.
And I wanted to sign myself out of that and booked a holiday last year for my family of 4. So it's the first year we've ever done it. We will be spending Christmas, just the 4 of us, on the beach. Elijah does not expect, and nor does Noah, they don't expect a cooked Christmas luncheon.
Everybody around the table.
Which when you have a family get together, that is often the expectation. My kids will be happy with fish and chips on the beach.
Yes.
And so I've eliminated that, and that's possibly sort of a kudos to me moment. And I might miss it this year, and then that's okay. Then next year we pick it up again. And of course, them being boys, they'll want that cooked meal around family and with their grandparents in future. But it's a decision I've made. I don't need to justify it, but perhaps there where it comes to the mother load, because moms do, who creates the menu? who decides who's invited is
And if you're hosting, everyone's like, okay, what time must we be there? What do we bring?
a lot of decisions.
It's so much.
That's
When
a
all
lot.
you want to say is, like the message you sent to Ray around Elijah's birthday, which we discussed the other day, was just like, I'm handing this over to Ray.
Yeah.
Off you go.
Yeah. So I think I eliminated. I'm like, I don't want to make decisions on behalf of Ray's family or on behalf of mine. Or my therapist says what I tend to do is, and I know a lot of moms are going to be this way. So this is why I'm sharing. You want to make it nice for everybody else. Why are you making it nice for everybody else? Make it nice for yourself.
I was just about to say, unless, of course, it really genuinely makes you happy to do all those things.
Then cool. Yeah.
You know, because there are people who get a kick out of that kind of thing. It fuels their fire.
Out of creating menus and cooking and setting the perfect Christmas table.
Yeah, and they're really good at it. They're good at it. And so if it feels, I have many friends who do that. And I just look at them and I'm just like, I envy you for having that, for doing this. It's such hard work and not feeling resentful or bitter about it. You're genuinely doing it because you enjoy it. And for me, that's the only reason you should be doing it. And so if it ain't serving you, honey, boot it out the fucking door.
I mean, I don't think there's any right or wrong way to cut this tomato, but I think what we discussed last year, we did an episode called Moms Make the Magic, and that's, again, talking about that division of labor, talking about the mother load, talking about the fact that we make all these, I've got decision fatigue already, and we haven't even gotten to December.
You were resigning from your position. You wanted a
I wanted
demotion in our last
back
discussion.
in October. Yes, I'm done, so that load does often fall on the shoulders of moms. And that is why, again, we find ourselves talking about the mother load this year. And I think a lot of listeners will be inclined to villainize dads in this moment when we chat about the division of labor. Okay, so what's the dad doing? Putting his feet up and having a beer while mom sits and bastes a turkey or tends to the chicken. Sure. But we didn't marry arseholes, right? And it just so happens that a few weeks ago we chatted to another dad who is not an arsehole. He's a pretty involved dad who advocates for fatherhood, involved fatherhood.
Yes. Terence Mentor was our guest, aka Afro Daddy. He is a father and a husband and also a fellow content creator, no stranger to TGE, with a passion for parenting. We had a pretty enlightening discussion with him about being a father in the 2020s, and it was lekker to have him in the studio.
Yeah, it was, and to see him in person finally for the first time ever. So, listeners, viewers, stay tuned to hear what Terence Mentor, aka Afro Daddy, had to say. This is a very special surprise episode of The Great Equalizer Cross. Afro Daddy Cross.
Have you
asked your dad minus Sean Lutz?
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
You people you're real
and
people.
so are you, the Afro.
Yes, look at this. Look at this. Oh,
real
you're
life.
touching.
It's real.
I almost said I've been touching him, and then I thought that's inappropriate. Sorry, Julie, I didn't mean it like that.
Just a formal handshake, Julie. That's all that's happened.
Terence, look in that camera right there.
You have
Say
cameras.
hello,
Hi.
TGE listeners and viewers, and
Hello,
tell the nice
TGE.
people who you are.
Hello, TGE viewers and listeners. For those of you on the YouTube, my name's Afro Daddy. You can see why. Well, the first part you can see why. The second part is because I'm a dad. For you listening, I have big hair, lots of hair.
That's great.
I'm a fatherhood content creator.
Yes.
I guess it's the only way I can explain that. And recently started or restarted my podcasting. Myself and, like you said, Sean Lutz do a podcast called Have You Asked Your Dad, where we ask questions that dads normally don't get asked.
And we love that you ask questions that dads normally don't get asked, because we are driven crazy by the questions and the load. Yes. The mother load.
Yeah.
So you guys very expertly take on some of that mother load. I love that show.
Just shifting some of the responsibility, not all the responsibility. We're not crazy. We can't do all the things moms do. Come on, but just a little bits, small steps.
We're going to talk about that.
Oh,
but
dear.
first, tell us, who calls you dad?
Liam and Eli. Liam's 8 years old, and he is the physically capable member of the family. He's very smart and just able to like deal with whatever life throws at him. Eli is, I need to get this right, 7, and he's our big thinker and dreamer and master manipulator. So Eli's like CEO or cult leader. That's
Wow. That's quite
where
the description.
that's where I see him. And they're my 2 boys, and I love them very much.
And you have 2 cats and a dog.
Yeah, we don't really talk about the dog too much. Ugh, dogs.
Julie does, though.
Julie does all the time, and it drives me crazy. But my cats, Luna and Dexter, they're the best because they don't bark and they don't make a lot of noise.
Did you know this? That
I have
Charlene's
acquired
also
some
a
cats.
cat
Oh, really?
person.
For my household, yes.
Cats are great, right?
I love cats.
They're clean.
Yes.
They come and give you a cuddle when they want you to. It's great to teach your children about consent.
Yes,
Dogs are just like, yes, whatever. But cats are
Yes.
like, not right now.
exactly.
Maybe later. And
We
maybe later
love
works
our
out.
Cats.
Cats are
They're
great.
My husband, you said like dogs. Oh, Rhett would be so on board with you there. He's just not a dog person.
They're loud, they're smelly, you can't just leave them for like a whole day because they have to be walked, and they're so anxious, and what a pain.
This is why dogs are like kids.
But they
Yes.
do love you unconditionally. Kids,
Yes.
I don't think kids love you unconditionally like that. Kids love you on condition. They love you when they can get something from you.
That's true. But that's what I hate. I'm annoyed by that unconditional dog love. I feel so
It's
like
too much.
it's too much.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, this is worthless love.
Oh, it doesn't mean anything.
It means nothing.
It's only skin deep.
Yeah, exactly. When a cat walks up and sits on your lap, that is you know.
This is
This
a
is
choice.
true.
That's a big deal.
This is true. But
that's a
sometimes,
good
you know,
point.
like I've been in a very soft space right now, and I've been like wanting that. I just want this pet to come up to me and
Just be
Just
you are
love
its
me.
person no matter what.
Mm.
You can have our dog. if you really want.
Can I have Julie too?
No. Look. There's only so much. I'll tell you what. You can take the dog permanently, and Julie will want to visit.
Okay,
And there we go. That's a
Visitation
deal.
rights.
Julie,
Does
you
Julie
heard it here
have a say
first.
at all in this?
Julie, for you watching or listening, Julie is my wife. I think obviously, and I think Sam loves her almost as much as I do. It's very close.
It's true.
It's true. She's not even going to deny it.
It's true, but not as much as I love you.
Oh,
you
look,
see-
there's so much love in this here studio today. Thank you. Am I your first love still?
You are.
Thanks.
Sorry, Ray. Do you know what I would love to do? I was thinking about this. Sorry.
Go for
You
it.
can't have another podcast star on your podcast.
Yes, I
and not have it
know.
Take over.
Why?
Go.
I was thinking I would love to get Ray and Rett in this room.
Oh, yes.
And I would love to interview them in the way you would interview them. But like, you know, the no judges, the one question I would want to ask them is, does the no judges principle
Really?
apply in your own
In
home?
home.
Would you say your wife applies that to you, Ray? Or
Well,
you,
how would I
Rhett?
judge my husband though?
I know.
Oh.
I judge my husband hard.
Yeah, I was going to
What do you
say.
judge- okay, what do you judge Rhett about?
He, love, this is news to you.
Oh, dear.
I judge him on how he's the fun parent, and so he arrives, and I judge him on that he gets to be that person. I'm like not resent, but I'm like, I judge him for it because he doesn't even have to try hard. He just shows up and he's the fun parent.
Captain
first thing.
Awesome right away.
Yes. Secondly, Rhett is really nauseous in the mornings. Like he has like morning sickness like you would have in pregnancy. He has had it his entire life. So every morning when he wakes up, he has to just take a minute, sit up, like in bed, and just like let it pass. But you have to hit the ground running, and so I'm up and getting the kids out the bed, and I judge him for it because he gets to do that.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
What happened when you had morning sickness?
I hardly had morning sickness. Remember, I had a very small bout with Jess, but with Joshua, I had no morning sickness.
Because Rhett's dealing with all the morning sickness
And
now.
he, to be honest, he didn't have a lot of compassion because he's nauseous every day of his life. So he's just like, what are you on about?
I
woman?
deal with this all the
It's like,
time.
Whatever. And then he went and had his tattoo done the other day on his chest, and it went a little bit over his nipple. And I was like, oh, what was that you were saying about breastfeeding? Really? Really? The nips being sensitive? Yeah, so I do judge him. I judge him.
Definitely.
I judge him for the privileges he gets that I don't get, and not because if he could change it, he would. He would, like, if he could take it away and do it differently, he would do it at the drop of a hat because he lives to make my life better. But
This
some
is
things you
true.
can't change.
He often says in our company how the kids are so much nicer when Charlene's not around. Like, they bring out their
true.
worst / best when
Because you're their
Charlene's
safe space.
Yeah.
So I arrive and then just the wheels come
Everything
off. And
just
it's
devolves.
just like, Mom, Jesse's pulling my hand. And he was like, they didn't do any of this. I've been with them the whole afternoon. I can tell you now, he's with them this evening, and I will be home later, and I was like, how was your evening? Oh, fine. We had dinner.
Chill,
Read a
yeah.
story. Went to bed. No
Done.
problems.
Sorted. I'm so sorry. I'm like completely. You gave us a set amount of time for this, and I'm
Oh,
completely.
yeah.
But I would love to ask his perspective of that, because I can see when Julie is judging me, because she tries to hold back. She's a great wife, a great partner. She tries to be encouraging, but I'll walk into the room or I'll do something, and her eyes just dart down and up for like half a split second, and it's more than enough for me.
What is she judging you on, though?
Oh, what I'm wearing, what I'm eating. It sounds bad, but usually it's like, Terrence, that's like your second bar of chocolate today, or do you really need that size bowl of popcorn?
Talking,
It's like,
talking with my eyes.
yeah.
see.
You're gonna have all of that. Oh, okay. That's fine. And she knows that, like, you shouldn't food shame people, but also her husband complains about having like a sore stomach in the middle of the night. And
Yes.
maybe this is the problem.
And you're a nighttime eater.
I am a nighttime eater.
Because you're a night owl.
So literally,
Yeah.
I'm eating at like 2:00 in the morning. I'm having something
Okay.
Oh, wow.
to tide me over to breakfast, which you can see. If you're watching, you can see the effects of that. So yeah, she doesn't judge me. So she definitely judges me when she is really hectic with like her work or life, which is often because she's quite busy, and I'm not.
More relaxed.
So I'm kind of chilled out and
judge
relaxed.
Rex on that too. I'm just like, you have it so easy. But then he's a really hard worker, and he will work. He will never complain. He will get up, even if he's sick. He will get up at 4 a.m. in the morning and go run a job that needs doing. So I judge him for a moment, and then I remind myself
remember
of
everything else.
this perspective, and then I'm like, okay, get over
See,
it.
I don't have
Charlene.
that. I don't have the background of hard work that I can rest on my laurels, because she's always worked harder than I have. So
And intensely. So Ray and I our work at the moment is like equally chaotic and intense. And I've wanted to talk to you about this, but this is a great opportunity to bring it up. I felt that the division of labor in our household for the moment, because he travels a lot, has evened out for the first time since having children. The default parenting, I'm still the default parent. It's still something that weighs on me and something I rally against. In terms of the patriarchy and women's roles and gender roles. And Ray and I often unpack it, that I'm just like, you're not an arsehole, Ray. I did not marry an arsehole. But there's a lot of stuff that I think about that he doesn't. So this ties in nicely with the story I was about to tell you, is that we earlier off mic, that I'm on the school WhatsApp groups and email threads, as is he. But I'm the one who feels the weight of those groups. He doesn't care. So dads were asked a question on the group, a silly question about whether the boys could get dolls for Christmas. And I was like, of course they can. But the question was asked to the dads. It was addressed. So I quickly messaged, I forwarded to Ray, and I said, you better answer this. And now, before
I get stuck in.
I get stuck into this stupid question. There is such thing as a stupid question. That was a stupid
That was
question.
one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
My boy has 2 dolls, and one that wheezes he would love. So please get him a doll that wheezes while he's potty training. But yeah,
How
Ray
did any other dads respond?
This
no,
is the
no
best.
other dads responded. Some
Like
moms
at
did.
all?
No one responded at all. And
Not
then
in the group.
later, this is a reflection on the school. So let me speak out of that. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. The school said...
That was very good restraints.
The school said, we were just joking, don't worry. And I was like, but that's worse now that was a joke.
Yeah. Why is that even a joke?
Did
That's
you
just a
want to
simple-
freak people out? That's
Also,
the not
what's
a...
funny about
What is
that?
funny about that? I don't understand. Are you saying that it's so crazy that your boys would get dolls that you're...
Just joking.
Just no. So I've got huge issues with that whole question thread. So much so that it was like screenshots and angrily sent to Charlene and like, look at this shit.
I'm fighting. You don't know the restraints. I'm practicing not to respond.
But this is a prime example, right? Because on the one hand, we're talking about Ray and you still kind of falling into gender roles,
Yes.
stereotypical gender roles, and yet our children are still being raised in these schools and other spaces along these gender roles. So it's there's also a point where I'm like, okay, you can definitely fight the patriarchy, yes, good, but also you have to give yourself a break at some point because
it's like salmon swimming upstream.
100%.
Because the system is the system.
If I had to, I mean, the same in our house with the school thing. Julie is my boys go to an all-boys school, the same school that I went to. By all rights, I should be the person that's most involved in their school life, and exactly like Ray, I could not care.
So Ray didn't care. He's like, when I said to him, I messaged him and said, please respond to this. And he's like, I will, but who cares, Sam? Just don't let it get to you. And I did let it get to me, and I let everything else get to me that gets said on the group and all the other responsibilities, and I save all the dates that crop up and whatnot. So I'm curious, like, why aren't you because you don't care? Does Julie care? Or
I think
she's got it.
So it's two things. It's exactly what you're saying, that I know Julie already cares, and so in my mind, there's no point in me wasting brain space, the limited brain space that I have, if I know she's going to be worrying about it anyway. And we've had arguments about this where she's asked me to do something, I'm about to do it, or I'm about to, and then she is already thinking about it and worrying about it. So I'm like, well, if you're going to worry about it, you do it. I'm not going to worry about something that you're already worrying about. Which
But
seems
it's because she can't trust that you'll actually
Exactly.
do it.
So it
Like,
just
I want to give
perpetuates-
you this thing, but I know you're not going to do it.
so all I'm doing is proving her worst fears by doing it that way. And I also think, going to that school, all of the PTA were moms. Everyone who was involved with organizing outside the school stuff, they were moms.
But don't they just invite the moms? They're like...
So they try to. They try.
Do they involve the
They try to involve the
dad?
dads, but the people who are it's the part of least resistance for the school is they know the moms are going to be the people who are going to respond.
Do it
So they're much more likely to do that. And it is, I mean, I like to think of myself as a progressive father and husband.
you are, though. You are.
Okay,
I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it's such a mental hurdle for me to overcome, to take up that role and even to do it in a space where if I've said, right, you don't worry about anything to do with the school, I will worry about the school stuff. Even then, when I'm like fully cognizant of the fact that this is now my responsibility, it is like I'm overcoming an extra hurdle that Julie doesn't, because she's been, socially trained to do that her entire life, and I'm
so naturally.
yeah,
Yes.
and I'm battling 37 years of the opposite.
Yes.
You know what really scares me is I think, and that I thought about this yesterday as we recorded another episode, that we're so cognizant, and I include you in this, we're so cognizant of gender roles, conscious parenting, really thinking about this parenting thing, and I think that we're the three of us are content creators in this space. That's how much we think about this
Yes,
stuff.
yes.
Yep.
And that's not to say shame on other people who don't think about it. But if we are the ones really thinking about it and we still struggle to overcome gender roles,
Imagine how
I'm scared.
other
then.
people are
Must be.
who maybe aren't surrounded by people who are asking these questions.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's hard. I mean, my only hope, and this is like my one little small hope, is that I can just move the needle a bit.
Yes.
And then my sons can move the needle a bit there.
And so
and
on.
and so on.
And so on.
We're not going to have the
Every
win
little
out.
bit helps. Yeah, you're not gonna change the world
No.
in one day. Probably not in this lifetime, or your lifetime, or my lifetime. But whatever we can do here to make a bit of a difference for the future, and then at least you're doing something.
Like I don't want my boys to be little assholes or big assholes. Like I
Yes,
just want them to be like
exactly.
good people.
Yes.
And if I can just help them by working on myself to be better, so that they can be better,
Yes.
then I'm planting the seed that their grandchildren will one day play in
I
for the
want to
tree.
say to you, Terence, though, that I think that you are already doing better than you give yourself credit for. Because, and I have to also give props to my husband here, because when we're doing school, he knows he's also on the school group, but he knows that I've got it. And so that's kind of my jurisdiction. But when there is a school dress up or a this or a that, he has arrived at home and he's like, listen, by the way, I got Jessie an outfit for Heritage Day.
Nice.
By the way, I've done this for Joshua.
That's really
I've thought of
sweet.
an idea for him to make a musical instrument.
It's small things like
It's
that.
small things
But
like
it's a
big
that.
deal.
And so the support that you give your wife, and even the conversations you're having with them, and the way that you're placing yourself in her shoes from time to time, and always I listened to a snippet of your latest episode on Have You Asked Your Dad, where you take the feminist
Yes.
point of view on the men cooking
Yes.
when it's and I won't give too much of a spoiler. Go listen, guys.
Thank you.
But it stood out to me that that's the kind of way that you're thinking, and so you want to be a better guy. And I mean, you could have been just a dickhead that's just like, yeah, boys will be boys, my boys will be men, and you know, that kind of thing. You're not that person, and my husband's not that person, and Sam's husband is not that person. And so by just that small margin, we are already doing better for our children than people who don't do that.
I've got to give my husband props. You know what I did last week? It was Noah's 2nd birthday, and there was a lot of organizing that needed to be done, and my mom sent me a message, as moms and grannies do, and said, I'm stuck on a gift. What can I get for Noah? And I went, Mom, I don't have headspace for this. I'm going to forward all of this to Ray, and maybe you guys can liaise. And I literally did just that. I just forwarded the WhatsApp thread to Ray, and he responded, cool, I'll take care of it. And he was in the middle of something, like in the middle of like work crazy.
So for you to be able to just hand that over.
I just forwarded the message with no precursor, with no nothing. He got the message that said, I'm forwarding this to Ray. That's the message he got. And he put 2 and 2 together. And when he got home, he said, I phoned your mom on the way home. Don't worry, everything's sorted.
Oh, what lovely guys you have.
And you know what he also did? Yes.
Yes, very much. This is why I want to chat to them. I'm kind of.
Yeah.
Ray won't mind being on camera, but I don't know how Ray would feel about it.
Ray's
Maybe
very
if
shy
Fred's
about
with
it,
him,
yeah.
they'll have a
I will
nice
make them
time.
feel so comfortable. I bring them in and then I drop bombs on them.
You know what Ray also did for that party was, you were obviously doing prep and whatever, and we were on our way there, and I don't know if you asked him to do that.
I did
but-
ask him to do
and
that.
he was just like, hey, not sure if you've been to this location before. Here's the details. This is where you got to go. And just like that logistical stuff. he
As I was
sorted.
driving, I sent him a voice note. I said, phone my mom, get the gate code, and send details to this group, and this group.
Okay.
And I trusted that it
It's
happened.
done.
So as teams, we operate as a nice, well-oiled machine. You know, I can't complain. And I think the more that we talk and are open about it and realize that we need, which is difficult for me to do, ask for help.
Yeah. I will say though that on this podcast, the things that we've discussed, I mean, I suppose I've been able to articulate my feelings more about parenting and what I struggle with, because you have to really sit down and think about it. Like when you go to therapy, you have to unpack your feelings. And so when I've had these discussions with Sam, then in our household, Red's taken note of that, you know, and he's like, I listened to that episode and you know, you've mentioned it to me before, but the way you unpacked it there, it makes so much sense to me. And I can see him making changes around the house and in our lives.
Wow.
Because, and he'll reference, I know you've got the mother load at the moment. I've done X, Y, and Z.
Just the fact that, I mean, I know
Talking about this stuff.
and they're listening to what you're saying.
Yes,
To have a partner that, I mean, I have a partner who listens to what I say and goes, okay, well, how can we, as a collective,
Yes.
make our lives easier together?
And our kids will see that. Our
100%.
kids will see that. And I think we're doing a great job.
We're doing a
I
great
think you
job,
guys are.
guys.
Good
High
job.
Five. High five.
And so you
five.
also.
High five. I'll take those high fives. Always good.
Let's get into that. I'm very curious as to my perception of you and Julie is that you have a very egalitarian household.
You're going to have to explain that word to me. Let's look at the journalist
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here, right?
that you have an equal division
Oh.
of labor. And so you have just spoken about Julie, which surprised me, and not that it makes me think differently of you, but I was just like, okay, you're a normal guy. Like you still struggle with those
Oh, yeah.
with those concepts and that the way that we were all brought up in these gender roles. You still struggle with that, which I kind of assumed, you know, you kind of put someone on a pedestal. I kind of assumed that
I'm
you'd
a real
overcome.
human, unfortunately.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that, I mean, that does make me feel better. It
Yeah.
felt like you had overcome all gender roles that you and Julie, because, you know, and Julie's smart, man. Like,
Yeah, and I will say, I will agree with Sam, because I would have also I find it surprising what you've shared.
yeah.
Because
Which is nice.
when I've watched your content and your interactions, I always get the sense that you kind of have it more waxed than most do.
Oh, no.
And so it's refreshing,
It is
to be
refreshing.
honest
Yeah,
about this,
yeah.
because I think if that's the way I view it, if other dads or other families are watching you, it's good for them to know that this is
Yeah.
real and it's hard.
I mean, to be honest, there are things that I don't struggle with, and I give a lot of credit to that to my mom and my older sister, much older sister, significantly older sister. I can't emphasize how much older.
Oh,
Wow.
okay, wow. So she's really
Sure,
old.
sister.
She's so
I forget
old.
her name. You've mentioned
Vivian,
yes.
she's 14 years older than I am, but I had these two strong, in different ways, women who just kind of pulled me in and said, like, hey, you're going to be cooking. Hey, do you want clean clothes? You clean the clothes. You know,
Yes.
if you want to eat faster, you need to come help in the kitchen. You need to, whatever needs to be done. We're all responsible for whatever needs to be done. So there are a lot of things that I have no problem with, you know, thinking about the groceries or thinking about, you know, the dinners, and it's just kind of something that we naturally do. But when it comes to things like organizing family get-togethers, organizing birthday parties,
Social
organizing gifts,
calendar.
the social calendar, that's, which is again a very traditionally, stereotypically mom role.
Yeah.
I really struggle to get in on that in a way that is efficient and at a standard that matches Julie's standard.
Expectation. I was just going to say, I think dads would easily do that, but they'll do it in a dad way.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, let's have a bride, let's have a couple of people over, whatever. It's a party. We're
yeah.
together, and then I'll buy a cake from the local
Yeah, why are you
fancy
stressing
spa,
about
whatever,
seating
yeah?
or-
Or like, why do we need matching decor?
Yes,
And like that
yes,
kind of thing.
exactly.
But that's our standard. That's how we like to do it.
And everyone feels special when she puts the effort in, and she feels she's the older sister in her family, so she's the older sibling and the older sister, and she feels a lot of that burden on the oldest as the older sister that my sister also has.
Yeah.
So Julie's the oldest and you're the youngest.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, which is why she takes care of me. No, yes, but also no. So there are these things where the things that I get credit for isn't really difficult for me to do,
Okay.
and the things that I struggle with, I almost don't do at all because it's such a struggle for me. So there are these huge gaps in our
And she's really good at those things, so she just picks up the slack.
yeah, but even though she's really good at it, it's a lot. And like we're saying, she's incredibly talented and very capable, and her job is super intense.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get like a sliver of her job,
Yes, you've
and
been-
it's too much for me.
it's
I
Like,
don't
it's
know how she
intense.
compartmentalizes
she doesn't.
what she does and then still
We have
shows up for her
yeah.
family.
Our conversations in the kitchen is very much. It's very hectic because she needs to obviously offload and decompress. But even with all that, me knowing that, and I still struggle to take the other things off her plate that I should be able to take off her plate. So there's all of that guilt involved. You know, it'll be like, oh, Terrence, it's your mom's birthday in 2 weeks' time. We should be doing this and this and this. And I'm like, it's my mom's birthday, and she's worrying about it. And then it's like, okay, no, I need to get myself involved there, and I need to make sure that, you know, doing like you were saying, Rett and Ray would do. It's like, nope, I've got this. It's all sorted, and I just cannot get myself to do it. It's such a mental block.
Do you think moms need to outsource more to empower dads, or is it on the dads to do that?
I think it's a team effort. So there's a couple of things. I think we all have natural skills and talents, whether or not that's something that we were trained to do versus something that we just naturally can do. So if you can be certain that you as a dad are taking all of the other responsibilities that you can take, and you're taking off, I don't know, other household pressure to give her space to do those things, then I don't necessarily think that you have to all be doing everything at the same time.
Okay.
I think you need to be honest with yourselves and go, listen, I am just better at this. It's going to take me half the time, half the effort to do the same level thing that you would do, Terrence. Just let me do this.
Yes.
But I'm going to need you to do all the carrying. I'm going to need you to sort out the garden. I'm going to need you to sort out, make sure we have the right food. I'm going to need you to the boys for that day is your responsibility. So
I don't have to think about those things as well.
So, but I think where the problem comes in is that there are a lot of homes where there's very little that the father can naturally do.
Yeah.
And in that space, I think it's up to the dad to say, I have got this. It might not be great. It's going to be a struggle for a while, but I've got this. And I think if fathers and husbands can say that to their partners with confidence, it's not like, oh, I guess I could do that. No, leave this to me.
I'm going to figure this out.
Once, you know, like, again, how relieved did you feel when Ray messaged you and said, don't worry, I've got it. I've called your mom. It's all sorted. Now we need to do that on bigger scales.
Yes.
And I do think like it was a lot for me to be like, because I felt like I was being rude to my mom. I wasn't engaging. I had taken photos in the toy shop of potential gifts for when the inevitable questions came. What can we get for Noah?
Yes.
You know, so I had that answer locked and loaded, but I had zero capacity in that moment to answer her. And I was grateful for my mom's grace in that moment to not take that personally, to not go, Sam's being so short with me. And I was grateful.
Trying to do something nice.
Yeah. I was grateful for Ray taking that up and going, you know, and not saying, Sam, I'm busy with something important, and you just come at me without like a precursor. Everybody just went, cool. If she's doing it in that short clipped way, she must really not have capacity.
We know Sam well enough to know that this is
we're
in danger zone at the moment. So.
Also, well done for getting better at asking for help.
Yes,
because I
it's
know
been
that is
hard.
something you battle with a lot.
I think we all do, don't
Yes,
we?
I mean, I'm good.
You're
good
better
at it. Yeah, I'm quite good at it.
Can you teach us,
Yeah.
Capricorns?
I think it's a Capricorn
Yeah.
thing. So, okay. I'm going to zip this up because we could be here. We will probably be here for much longer afterwards. This is so nice.
I take full responsibility. I never get to just talk to people about this kind of stuff. I'm always on the other side thinking about the time and have we got to the right, sequence of audio.
Yeah,
and
now you can just relax.
now I can just relax and
Isn't it
waffle on.
nice?
This is lovely.
So, last question, and I think it is also to kind of punt. Have you asked your dad? Because it's such a great concept. Nobody asks dads the stuff, man. It's always like, I don't know, ask your mom. Or God, mom's just the default.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
mom knows the stuff. Actually, Elijah said something the other day. I can't even remember what the context was. Ray disagreed with me about a fact. We were reading a book, and I was like, I'm sure it's that. And Ray said, no, it's not. And Elijah turned around and he said, Mom, I know you're right.
I mean,
Don't worry. I know you're the right one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on, everyone. It's
We know that she's the boss around
yeah.
here.
Let's see who we're
The
dealing
lower
with.
of all things.
But have you asked? So, what are your top 3 questions that people don't ask dads?
Okay, are you ready for this?
Yes.
Sorry.
Because I'm not.
I want to break out into that. Y'all ready for this?
Yeah. They're all very cerebral questions. So it's, what are you afraid of? I think that would be the number one question. I don't think I've ever seen addressed in movies, addressed in TV.
Dads aren't supposed to be
That's
afraid
Dads-
of anything.
Great one, yes, because dads are not. They're
supposed to
invincible.
never. Yeah,
they're
exactly.
strong, and nothing scares them.
Yeah. So what are you afraid of? The other one was, which we haven't actually done yet. It's like coming up in the
Stay
pipeline.
tuned.
So
Stay
you're getting a
tuned.
sneak peek.
Yes.
How do you deal with regret?
Ooh.
Because dad's often seen as guys who like, oh, we just move on to the next thing. Like it's water off a duck's back. But that's not true, because we're people too.
Yes.
And we take on the failures and the inconsistencies and the things we've done wrong, and we deal with that oftentimes very badly.
And I also think that it's being a parent or becoming a parent, it's very humbling. It really cuts you down to size.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so if you're a really confident guy, I look at my husband, he's just like confident in everything he does, how he dresses, and like just everything. I look at him, I'm like, I wish I could just have just a sliver
Just a slither.
of your confidence. But he has expressed to me that he doesn't know how to deal with this feeling, because sometimes he has done things and he's like, wow, I regret doing it that way. I should have done it differently. And if he wasn't a dad, he probably would have never thought of things in such a deep way. And so, yeah, I think that's a great question.
And then the last question, which is my favorite question, which is what I always ask new dads, like when someone said, oh, I've just become a dad, is what was the first thing that went through your mind when you met your child for the first time?
Oh, that's a great one.
You know, because we do a lot of conversations around mothers' experiences of becoming a mom, and
yes.
rightfully so. Sam's looking at me like, Terrence.
No, not
rightly
at
so.
all.
We should have more of those stories.
I
But
agree 100%, because it's as much the dad's journey.
It's
as
a huge deal for a
It
dad.
is such a scary moment. It's really overwhelming.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it must feel like, because not only is your wife, say, for example, I think of my situation, I was having a C-section. My husband was standing there looking down at me with, like, literally on the other side of the screen. Like, he says, her whole diff was out on the side. And, like,
I saw that.
He could see that and me. And he's like, can you feel anything? Not only was that really scary, but then here's a whole new human that you're responsible for.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
And I mean, I recently made a video about this. I've spoken to several dads who separately have told me that the thing that shocked them was that when their baby arrived, they felt nothing.
Because you don't have, it didn't grow inside
It's not the
There is
same.
a disconnect.
There's a disconnect, or they're overwhelmed by other things. But the overwhelming love and passion and emotion that they see on TV, where the dad starts weeping and, you know, like holding their baby for the first time, this is the most amazing feeling. They don't have that feeling. It comes eventually.
Yes.
But they're so anxious in that few weeks or months before they feel true like love for their child, that they think that there's something wrong with them. Now, if other dads had been asked that question
and they'd spoken about it.
and they've spoken about it honestly, which is the other thing, do dads speak honestly? Not always. If we can get dads talking about stuff like that, then you can have dads going, okay, well, I don't feel what I was hoping to feel right now, but that guy mentioned that he had the same experience.
Yes, and so this is normal.
This is normal. He
and
totally adores his children now. It's going to work out.
And that moment happens. I'll never forget seeing Ray. It was during COVID. COVID was hard on us. That locked. We three spoke during that period.
Yes, we did.
we spoke twice actually that
Yes,
year.
we did.
We had
And
nothing else to do.
yeah, it was hard.
Creating content.
It was a hard year. So I went through a pregnancy, and that year was especially hard on Ray. And I'll never forget him looking at Elijah, being overwhelmed for the love he had for his child and the fear he had for the second one coming, and just bursting into tears. And I, at that moment, also realized that overwhelming love he is processing now.
It's
And
only
so,
clicked
yeah.
then, a slight
The
delay
weight of it
maybe.
just
Yeah.
taken hold.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, some dads, to be fair, I know dads who had the exact opposite experience, who
Mm.
just collapsed in a ball of gooey emotion and like, fantastic.
By the same token, moms, though.
Exactly.
Because
Also-
you have women who said that then you feel so guilty because you're like, this is my maternal instinct. I'm supposed to feel more
Surely.
for this
Yeah.
being.
Am I deficient as a mother?
Mhm.
You know, moms have that.
But so do dads, and
but so
that's
do
why
dads.
I love you and the
Sam.
conversations that you. I'm such a fan. I'm really
you guys
such
have
a
been
fan.
such a great, I want to say, partnership with AfroDaddy and now with Have You Asked Your Dad. Just having other people who have the same style of speaking about parenting, who aren't necessarily parenting influencers. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not our vibe.
Yes, no.
And to see the kind of work that you're doing, and sometimes to piggyback of that, or just straight up copy what you're doing. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, collaborate. Yeah, across time and space. Is such a. It's great to have that as a like this little community that we're
Yes.
growing.
Yes.
It was very lonely when I started AfroDaddy, and now I don't have to be that lonely anymore.
While I
She's-
was actually telling Tyler, our Tai,
What's up, Tai Tai?
I was telling her before you guys arrived that you were very welcoming when TGE entered the fray, because they weren't. I Googled, I was like, let's do a podcast. Where do I start? Parenting podcast, South Africa. And AfroDaddy was the only one at that stage. There are more now,
Thank
and
goodness.
we are grateful for that. But AfroDaddy was the one that cropped up. And when our first episode came out, this man so graciously
Yeah.
I was
landed
so
in our
excited.
inbox. It was so
I was so
lovely.
excited.
But that's the way we feel as well. And so we love that is the relationship
Yeah.
because we're just like, can we all just like sit around the
Yes.
table and just like,
Come.
we need more of this.
Yes.
Because I mean, look, there used to be villages for this, right?
Yeah.
And we don't have that anymore because we're in 2022 and the world is falling apart.
Yes.
So this is the only way. Like your podcast, I'm certain that there are parents out there who listen to your podcast, and you're the only parenting community that they have,
100%.
which is a huge burden on you guys. It's a massive responsibility. So good luck with that. But you guys are doing such a great job, and I'm sure there are loads and loads of moms and dads out there who are like listening to what you're having to say and go, oh, okay, I'm not alone,
Yes.
right? Which is the thing that we want.
Yes.
So well done to you guys.
And well done to you for having
Yeah.
that space for dads, because there is not it's easy for women to talk and find community and like find their people, you know. I think for guys less so, because on a big level it's probably like you say, do guys really talk about the things, you know? It's fun to talk about the rugby and the whatever around the braai or work or, you know, Bitcoin or whatever it is that rocks your boat. I don't know, you know?
Crypto bro.
Yes. There's a lot that can be discussed on like a not superficial level, but surface level.
Totally,
Surface level. But when it gets right down to the nitty gritty, parenting can break you. And where do you go as a dad for a safe space? So
You go to Terrence.
Yes.
Terrence, where can people find you?
Easiest is to go to afrodaddyonline.com. That's where you can find all of the content, the goodness stuff, or you can just search for Have You Asked Your Dad on any podcasting platform, Spotify, iTunes, anything like that. And we will keep trying. We'll keep grinding away at this.
yes.
Cheers to that. Alrighty then.
Yes.
What is the bottom line?
Well, I guess for me, from that discussion, and I remember feeling it on the day when we had the discussion and just like recapping now, it's great to, well, firstly, things aren't always as they seem. Because it might seem, because Terrence is a content creator, you might look into other people's lives, especially this year, on Instagram and social media, and it might seem like everybody's got their shit together.
Always seems like that.
It is that's just the highlights reel. Reminder, viewers, listeners, it is the highlights reel. Even Terrence and Julie have the same battles we have with the division of labor and the juggling of that. And something really interesting is that, and what I never considered was the gap, like bridging the gap between, I know my partner needs me to take over here or take the lead. I know I need to help here, but it's almost, it feels unnatural. I don't really know how to do it. It's a skill I have to learn still.
Mm. What was nice is that camaraderie I feel and felt in the moment of knowing it's hard. And I mean, in the beginning, we chatted about all the things that are weighing down, making me a Grinch. And when I unpack all of those things, it makes sense. And often in that, I feel very lonely. And in talking to you, I feel a little less lonely. And in talking to Terrence, even more so. And what was really nice is to hear that there are some people, perhaps long-time listeners or new viewers, who feel that way and listen to us and feel a little less lonely.
Yes.
And so that's the bottom line for me is, Grinch it up, guys. Whatever.
Feel the feels.
Feel your feels and be in the moment and notice when you're detached and give yourself the grace when you're not in the fucking mood to make inner palm and chocolate chip cookies.
Yes.
That's okay. That's okay. Pick it up when you can again. Yeah, it was nice. It felt very validating to have Terrence in part of the discussion and sharing that he feels the same struggles and that he and his wife have the same struggles as what we do in our coupledom.
Yes, yeah. I am reminded of a video that you shared last year, and I think it's got Matt Damon in it, if I'm not mistaken. It was a little social media snippet of how they go through all the things in Christmas, and then they end up on the couch drinking a glass of wine at the end of the day. And I don't even know, do you remember this video? I think you shared it with me.
Yeah.
I don't even remember the crux of the video, but I'm reminded of that. At the end of all of this, I can look over at my partner and be like, what the fuck just happened to us? You know, you're like, after Christmas and after all of this, and I can look over at my partner and be like, we have been hit by a train, but look at us, here we are. We're still standing. High five, partner. We're gonna get through another one of these, and Lord knows why we do it, but one day we'll probably understand why the mother load, especially at this time of year, and the division of labor takes such a huge toll.
I think that's the most sanguine point for me here. And the ultimate bottom line, I don't have any answer. Next time, see you again. We'll be talking about division of labor and making it festive.
We still haven't figured it the fuck out.
But you know what? You know what helps is to keep talking.
Yes. As we always say at the end of our discussions, our very lengthy, deep weighing discussions. You know this. If you want to chat with us, please weigh in on this conversation, whether you want to swear, rant, cry, or have a good laugh or laugh at yourself. Please hit us up over email at info@thegreatequalizer@gmail.com.
Or DM us a voice note on Instagram. Record one on your phone. Hit us up over email, info@thegreatequalizer.co.za.
Also, feel free to like and subscribe to our new YouTube channel. What?
What?
Not that new anymore, but
No.
we're enjoying it.
We are. Guys, your support, as always, is so important to us. You have no idea how much every like, love, comment, and share means to us.
Please don't forget to review us on Apple Podcast or rate us on Facebook. Whatever your poison, find us and leave a loving review, except for TikTok, because we're not there yet. We're old AF, and I don't know if we're the target market.
Hit the subscribe button, though. Wherever you might be interacting with us on, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because every interaction brings one mom closer to sanity. I believe it
Yes.
in my heart.
We will manifest that into reality. The more we're seen, the better the podcast will do and the better will be for you. I do want to say, closing on that thought, thank you to the mom that I've been liaising on. You shall remain nameless. But thank you for your email, and I'm so glad we could chat. And it meant a lot to me that what we had discussed about in our earlier episode about the coughing and Joshua Rett being so sick and whatever. Thank you for reaching out. We do get your emails, and I promise we do revert, even if it takes us a couple of days.
Yeah, we are there. Charlene, you are doing a very good job.
And so are you, even though you're depleted and exhausted. And you don't look it. I know you said you feel hungover and haggard today, but you look beautiful.
Haggard
as
and
ever.
broken. I guess that's it for for this week.
Yes.
And for this episode.
And this year.
And this year.
Yes.
Good grief.
Yes.
Until next time, my friend.
Yes. Keep your mom game strong. Shout out to our producers over at Autumn Aperture and ARC Studios, including our editor Tyler McKenna and sound engineer Stephen Creel. Please review our show notes for more on today's topic and expert guest. And for more on The Great Equalizer, our website is always a good idea, www.thegreatequalizer.co.za, along with our social media platforms on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now YouTube. And of course, if you want to chat with Sam or Charlene directly, email us at info@thegreatequalizer.co.za. We would love to hear from you.